Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to the Dear Dad podcast. This is the place where we address dad dynamics and discuss personal experiences, stories, and poem submissions to help provide a platform for healing while simultaneously uplifting one another. Let's change the dad narrative all around. Let's go. Let's grow. Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome again to Dear Dad podcast. My name is Bijemson Darius, aka BJ. Now I have this wonderful gentleman online right now. Tell us his story, his journey. But he's not a dad yet. I'm not going to jump into it yet. He's not a dad yet. But he has a beautiful, amazing story that I was recommended to that he is willing to share. And I am so at awe with his story. I'm at awe with the bravery that he's able to express, the feeling that he's able to express from a man's point of view. And I'm going to get to that later on in the podcast. But his journey, his experience with his dad, the closeness that he had with his dad, the adventures that he had with his dad is so beautiful. And I absolutely love the relationship that he had with his dad. And you guys, I'm not going to continue boasting, and I'm not going to continue taking your time and his time. Let me introduce you guys to Maurice. Maurice, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, BJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. All right, so let's just jump to the first question, and then we can take it from there.
All right, cool. Let's go.
All right, so Maurice, so tell me and tell the audience, who is Maurice?
Which one? My full name is Maurice Ojwang Jr. I am the son of Maurice Ojwang Sr. So which one would you like to get to know?
Whichever one.
Okay, well, I am Maurice Ojwang Jr. I was born and raised in Bronx, New York. I am an African-American young man born to parents of Kenyan descent. I am married to the beautiful Raquel Lassonnier, or I should say the former Raquel Lassonnier, who hails from the beautiful island, I'm told, of Martinique. I went to Oakwood University, graduated with a degree in biology. I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about eating. And I'm passionate about LeBron James. I live by the motto, if I can help someone as I travel along, then my living shall not be in vain. I think you got a lot about me out in that little paragraph there.
Right.
That's me.
All right, so Maurice, let's begin with your dad. So tell me about your dad.
Oh man, there's too much to say. There's a lot to say. My dad was a man of I say three things primarily. Number one, he loved God.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, he loved his family. And number three, he was passionate about Christian education. I would put those in that particular order. If you talk about those three things, I think you cover him pretty extensively. He was definitely passionate about God and everything having to do with God. And then his family was his everything, from his wife to his mother to his kids, his brothers, their kids. His family meant everything to him, more than anything else. And then lastly, he was very serious about education, about us bettering ourselves, about us desiring and seeking to achieve more from life and giving back to others to help others come up the ladder as well. So those are three concepts or three schools of thought that I would share that encompass who my dad was.
In relation to just thoughts and memories of your dad, what are some memories that you have or you can cherish that you have of your dad?
I can tell you memories from when I was in school, and I would have lots of homework, and it was important for him that we got our homework done as soon as we got home from school. He would tell us that the homework has to be on his side of the bed when we finish it, and he would come home in the evenings. He would check our homeworks, and he'd sit down with myself and my younger sister, Martha, whom he would check our homeworks and make sure that we did the right thing. he would make sure that we understood the lessons that were being taught, and he'd even go a step further and encourage us to learn the new lessons yet ahead, so that we'd be ahead of the class before we even got to class. When I think of memories with my dad, I think of him teaching me how to speak and how to preach, how to present myself in front of people. There's so many memories. I think of him taking us to piano classes and encouraging us to take music seriously, even teaching us some music theory stuff, because he was a musician as well. There's just so many memories. I mean, there are way too many memories that come to mind when I think about him.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And just now, you were just mentioning the importance of education from your dad, and I think that's very crucial. And I think that's important, and it's beautiful that your dad come from that kind of upbringing. From your perspective, if you had that conversation, if you know about it, why was education such a key point in your upbringing, or to your dad, should I say?
Education was such a key point to him because of where he came from and how he grew up. In a Kenyan family or culture, or maybe I should even generalize, it's African culture, education is nearly everything that they have. Is the only way to move up in life, or move up in the ladder of life. Maybe I should say it that way. He's told the story multiple times. He came from a 2-parent household. He had 9 siblings, and 8 siblings, 9 including him. And so each sibling was concerned about helping their parents raise the other sibling. And so when he was a 4th out of all the 9 kids. When all the other kids had grown up, when his older siblings had grown up, they were all concerned about trying to help each other go to school. And when they got to finish school, which was high school at the time, they would go get jobs and try to help the next person graduate and move on in the education ladder, because if they didn't do that, then they wouldn't have a bright future for themselves. And the stories that I heard my dad share multiple times about getting educated, he did say that it was the only way for them to, how would I say this? It was the only way for them to ensure that they had a bright future. Because if they did not succeed in their classes, the only other option was to enter the workforce and to attain the most that they can without the degree or without the high school diploma that they did not get.
Right.
So I think having that mindset and just knowing that parents go through so much to put you in school, to get you a school uniform, to get you shoes on your feet, to get you the textbooks and all that from elementary through high school and so on. And then I come to New York City where, schooling is almost a guaranteed thing for any student as long as you're under 18. Right. And it's pretty much free. We take it for granted compared to how it was a privilege, a blessing for him. So I think these are things, growing up in my world today in New York versus him growing up in Kenya, he took it that seriously because he knew what it meant and how much it built and helped shape his future, the family at large's future. That's why I think education really meant a lot to him. He knew that it was a brighter way, it was a right way. He also knew that it would help you be of service to mankind. It wasn't just about schooling and getting a job, but it would help you give back to your community. It would help bring others into a better position, not only to know God, but to help other people. So it's multifaceted.
How was the relationship between you and your dad?
I want to say that depending on how old I was, the relationship it differed. Okay. As early as I can remember, I would say my relationship with my dad was a very rocky one. It was a very scary one. He was a giant, almost like a bully, a monster in a way, because things had to be done his way at his time, and it had to be done right, exceptionally correct. You had to be perfect, and if you didn't, there were consequences to pay for that. I think that was me as a kid, and I'm talking about 10 years of age and under. I'd even go as far as saying 11 years of age and under.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say the preteen and the teen years there, I began to come into myself, and I realized, he just wants excellence. It may be a bit much, but he does need and require excellence. I would definitely say that coming to my later years of my teen, like from 17 going forward, I think I began maturing more, and I began to get an appreciation for what he desired. I began to see that all he wanted was the best for me. And at the end of the day, I would be better for it. I wouldn't just be as good as, I would be better than. So my relationship with him differed as time progressed. Honestly, I'd even go as far as saying I didn't have that much of a relationship with him except for school and church until I hit maybe about 18 or 19. He literally just drilled into my sister and I church or spiritual matters and academics. That's really all it was. He didn't care about anything else. He said everything else can wait. There'll be a time and place for that. But right now, the time and place is for God and for your schoolwork. My mom kind of took over other areas of life. So as a result, we didn't really deal with him in those areas, except it had to do with church or things having to do with God and our schoolwork. But when I got older, my relationship with him definitely evolved into a working relationship. For instance, we worked together, evolved into a place where he was able to talk to me about relationships and thinking ahead into the future, family-wise, and what he would want to see, and so on and so forth. So as time has progressed, it has evolved. It has definitely evolved.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I know there was a couple of things that you mentioned before in the beginning, and even as of now, there's a lot of characteristics between you and your dad. I'm hearing, and I see that similar. Even from the beginning when I was talking to you, you have a statement that you go by, and it's all about helping somebody else. It's all about moving forward in life and not thinking about it's only about you, which is a great and amazing way to move on to life where it's not just about you. Me and my wife have this mindset where wherever God placed us is not for our needs, it's not for our purpose, it's for God's purpose. So if he moves us from A to B, it's because he sees that we are ready for B. We're done with A, we're ready for B. So he placed us in B because we're ready for it. Not only that, but he placed us in B because there are other avenues and other ways we can help other people in our lives. There are so many people that we have touched everywhere we've gone. It's such an amazing thing. And I believe that, and I'm a strong believer that wherever you go, whatever you do, it has to be a vision, and it has to be intentional with helping somebody else. And I believe that because, again, God has done so much for us, and I'm not going to say just me, for us, to where I was to who I am right now to where we are right now. It's just amazing, and it's beautiful. And I'm the fact that I hear that from you, and I hear that from your dad, and the vision that you had just to help other people is beautiful. So I just wanted to find out.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What are other characteristics, or what kind of characteristics in your dad that you seem to find in yourself?
Many. Many. I can speak on a biological level, our phenotype, our genotype. I can speak in terms of character. I would say that I definitely have taken my views on a lot of views about life. One thing that I definitely did want from him was parenting, coaching. And I guess what I'm going to have to do is just think back to what he and my mom did. And thank God I still have my mom around. But definitely how he raised me, I don't think it's necessarily the best, but I do think it was effective. I think how he went about raising myself and my sister, I definitely find it interesting. We are two different people. My sister and I definitely do have differences, but for the most part, I'd like to say, or I'd like to think it worked. So that's one thing I definitely would take from him. But what we do have now in common, I would say, our views on marriage. I would say our views on family, sharing the love and the level of love, intensity, the level of care about each family member. That's definitely there. Being united, being involved in the work of the church. That's something that we definitely do share in common. I would also say that we have in common a strong work ethic. I would say that he gave that to me. I would say that we care about, making sure that we do something tangible, productive, and efficient with our hands, that we're able to provide for what we need and what we want. We're similar in terms of even the words that we use, how we communicate. Yeah, there's a lot. We love the same food. I took a lot from him. I mean, fashion, I'm a little bit different from him, but for the most part, the same. There's a lot. There's really a lot. And I know I'm not really helpful in the adjectives that I'm giving you, but there's a lot of similarities that I've taken from him. And I'll even go this far and tell you that I did not think that I would be this much like him in my younger years. I definitely thought I'd be different. I'm gonna be a different dad. I'm gonna be a different man. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. But I'm tempted to say that we're more alike than we are different.
I find it fascinating, that you said that your father was very, I would have said militant. He's very focused on education, and the way he taught you is, education and church. And you said the rest was towards your mom to just pretty much pick up, and as far as the love and compassion and holding and stuff like that. And you said your wife learned who you are, or it was a clarity of who you are when she met your dad and your parents, which for me actually makes a lot of makes a lot of sense, because I believe we tend to, at times when we are younger, we try to be absolutely different from what our parents are to a certain degree. Like, I'm not going to be the way he is. I'm not going to be as strict. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more than what my parents taught me, and I'm going to be a whole lot different. And then we reflect back, we look back, especially when we get older, we notice that we are almost to a certain degree a mirror image of who our parents is, to a certain degree. And I say certain degrees because now we are who our parents taught us, but we are a better version or a different version of that. We share a lot of characteristics of that, but we can never run away from our heritage. We can never run away from our roots. And that's what, for me, it was an eye opener when you say your wife met your dad, and it was like, you know what? And I'm pretty sure she had a lot of questions. She was like, why do you act the way you act? Why do you do the things you do? Why are you focused the way you focus? And then to have a conversation with your parents and with your dad specifically, it clears everything up, because now you can see the relationship between you and your dad, and you can also see the relationship between you and her. It also clear up a lot of things. It filters out a lot of things, and now it makes sense, like you said before, and I understand that. But I know for myself where I have a tendency to say, I'm not going to be like that. So growing up, I said, I'm not going to be a deadbeat dad. I'm not going to be an absentee dad. I'm going to be the best dad I can be. And I am. But there are so much characteristics in me that I see. It's that I don't want to remove, but I see this in my dad. And I'm talking to him. I have conversation with him, and I see and hear his tone, his posture, the way his demeanor, the way he acts, the way he says certain things, his laughter, everything. And I can't change that because that's my DNA. That's who I am. I don't want to change that. I want that signature in me. And I also want it to a certain degree to pass it on to my son. I'm seeing characteristics in my son. It's still too early right now, but I'm seeing characteristics in my son that I can say, I want my dad part to be in you. I want my part to be in you, because I want to take every good essence, every positive feature in you and pour it into my son. I want to take the bad as well and learn from it and capitalize on it and see how I can make it better for the next generation. Everything that we do, everything that I'm trying to do right now is to better myself for his future, and maybe my in the future of my kids. And I don't want to run away from that. I think once you reach into adulthood, especially when you become a parent, your mindset change you become a different person. And I believe you have to become a different person in order. You have to grow mentally and physically, because if you don't, it's going to be a problem for you. And I highly encourage that, and I highly believe that's something that you have to do. So as soon as you told me that your wife understood who you are better when after she met your dad, spoke volume. And because I could say my wife pretty much says the same thing too. She was like, "Man, you guys are so similar. Why you guys act so different? Or you guys are speak the same way, or act the same way, or your tone and posture is the same way." And something that I used to run away from, now I'm encouraging, because as time goes on, we don't know when is the last time we're going to see our dad, or we don't even know the next time we're going to be here, right?
Right,
But we want
right,
to take in those time. We want to take in those privileged times that we have that is not promised, to continue absorbing these things, to
right,
continue taking
right.
in, because we don't know when is the last time we're going to see this person. And we're not guaranteed anything. The only thing we need to be grateful for is the breath of life for today. Enjoy today. And when tomorrow brings, you give God glory, give him the honor for tomorrow, but for the time being, we just need to just like take in. I know I said a mouthful right now, but the floor is
No,
yours.
but those are all very true words. I was driving, I think it was yesterday, and or maybe it was today, I can't even remember. But I was driving on the street towards my house, and I was just thinking about the last time my dad drove on that street, and he probably didn't even know it was his last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important that we live each moment. There's a song that I heard years ago that says, "Live like you're dying." Meaning just live knowing that you may not get this moment again. And I think that's a very important concept. And I think also that he taught me that from a long, long time ago. And so I don't really have a lot of regrets right now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't think I have any regret, to be honest, in regards to my dad, because I treasure each moment that I get with people.
Yes.
I treasure each moment that I get to see people, because I don't know if or when I will get to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
So those are definitely powerful words that you spoke, and I appreciate you for sharing them.
Yes, thank you. No problem. That was beautiful. If there is, what are some things you wish had went different with you and your dad?
Like I said, I don't have any regrets, to be honest. I don't think I wish anything went different. I wish he was around to see me blossom in my career. And even more than that desire, I wish he was around to meet his grandson, who I was going to name Maurice III. Who I am going to name Maurice III. Me and him had this thing from a long time ago. I mean, this is before I was even a teenager. I remember we had a conversation once, and we said, somebody would one day call Maurice, and then all of us would turn around. My dad would turn around, I would turn around, and my son would turn around, and then someone would say, which one? And that's how we started our conversation today, So that's one thing that I definitely do wish he got to experience, or we got to experience. But anything that I wish could go differently, I can't say that. Honestly, I think I'm actually one of the privileged guys that you might interview, because my last words to my dad were, "I love you."
Okay.
And he saw me, he heard me, he understood me, he registered my sentiment and responded in like manner, even though he did not do so audibly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I got to close the chapter well.
Beautiful.
I think, yeah, on my part, I have no regrets. I wouldn't change the narrative. I would just extend it.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. I'm glad you got that closure. And I say that only because not many people are able to do that. Last season 2, I was talking to my cousins, and their dad, my uncle, passed away, and they had so many questions to ask them, so many questions they wanted to answers to, but they just left empty and blank and without any answers, because the dad had passed away. So the fact that you were able to have closure, you're able to move on in life and close that chapter in your life, I know it means a lot. Because once you have closure, you are able to move a little bit more fluidly in life. things are it's a little bit less of a burden. And I'm happy. I'm glad that you got that closure in your life. And I know from the beginning of this episode, we've been talking about your dad in the past tense. Yes, it's because your dad did pass away, and your dad is no longer with us. And I know that affected you a certain way, and I know it hurt. I'm not going to go into detail and saying that I do understand. I have not gone through that, but I do want to know. I know that your dad passed away. So how did his death affect you?
Oh boy, that's probably the heaviest question you've asked me yet. I think we could go back to a question about what he taught. What's the life lesson? How did his death affect me? It affected me multiple ways. We worked together, as I told you earlier on. Mm-hmm. So that's actually, being at work in the office and not seeing him. That's one of the most. That was one of the most real moments for me. Okay. Yes, we live in the same house, but I don't spend that much time in my house as I do outside of it. And being at work and him not being there was that made it real. Mm-hmm. I'm accustomed throughout the many years. I mean, I'm talking about maybe 15 years, walking into his office and he's sitting on the desk in a shirt, tie, and sleeves rolled up, probably on a phone call or clipping his nails, or something of that nature. That's just a look for dad. I don't even have a look. That's a trademark for dad in the house. I know him in the office. And that's one thing that changed for me was the job scene. That's number one. Number two was at home. I would argue and say that, I didn't even mention this, but I'll just put it out there for the record. My dad died during this COVID era. So he was in the hospital for some time. And when he was sick, from that time that he was sick, it was maybe 3 weeks or close to a month thereabout. He was not at home. So I kind of got used to not seeing him at home, even though I knew that he was still around mentally. And for me, if things add up mentally, it doesn't matter what reality really says, because I know what it actually is mentally, kind of thing. But when he died, I realized my mom is all on her own. So all the things that he used to do for my mom, whether it's taking care of the bills or, different projects that they had going on together, I just found myself wanting to and trying to step in to be there for my mom, to help take care of all those things. So definitely my relationship with my mom shifted. And also I was challenged to not just think of my mom as the same as she's always been, but to realize that because my dad is now gone, she is broken, and she might, unfortunately, and probably did, change it to a new person. It affected her. So I have to come to terms with that and get to learn this new mother that I now have, a mother that does not have her husband, and learn what her needs are, learn what she needs to experience, what she needs to hear, what she needs to feel and see. A lot more time was spent, a lot more physical time was spent with my mom. So that definitely was an effect in my life since his death. Then there's also my relationship, my romantic relationship. I got married in this season after my dad died. Honestly, I'd like to think that this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Juggling grieving, or I don't know if grieving is the right word, or coming to terms with the fact that dad is no longer here, mentally and physically doing what needs to be done since he's not here to do it, as well as preparing for a marriage. Making sure that who is number one feels like she's number one. No matter what I do, feelings will always trump what no matter what reality is, because you can't tell someone how they feel. So his death definitely affected me in multiple facets, and it's not over. The first word I wanted to say was I'm scared to see what's yet ahead, but And I am. I'll be honest. I am. I actually think that life would be easier if he was still here. But I know that Jesus doeth all things well. So I just take the cards that I'm dealt with, and I literally, and when I say literally, I mean literally take each hour as it comes. My friends would tell you that I always said that prior to even my dad dying, but now I find myself just saying, okay, we made it through the morning, we made it through the afternoon, it's bedtime, thank God, 2 more hours and I get to close my eyes, and I pick up the new battles of tomorrow when tomorrow comes. So to go back to your question, because that's one thing that my dad definitely taught me, make sure you answer the question. To go back to your question, my dad's death has affected me on a work front, family, and even a intimate romantic relationship with my wife, making sure I balance the different areas of my life and multiple other areas. I mean, I cannot announce and pronounce everything to you, but definitely has had an effect. It has forced me to grow up a little quicker than he did by himself. I'll say that much.
Wow. I know whenever I ask that question and somebody's, parents or dad is no longer here, it's a very touchy subject. And I'm very, I tiptoe around that, and it's based on how comfortable I am or how comfortable you project towards me that I can ask that question. So, and I usually ask, if you're comfortable, feel free to ask that question. But I felt I was comfortable enough to ask that question because based on what you're projecting, you were able to answer it. I think because like you said, you came to term with it, and you still are coming to term with it. It's not as hard as it was in the beginning, and that you still are growing, you still are healing, and I applaud you for that. And it's not easy. It's really not easy. I'm not going to again begin to say I understand. Every journey and every experience is different. It could be two of us growing up here, and we all absorb these things differently, right? We act differently. It's maybe yours could be sadness, mine could be anger. Maybe yours can be withdrawal, and mine can be like aggression. It all depends on the person and how you take it. And I applaud you, and I think you're taking it. There is a lot of effect that it does have on you. Like I say, it does have an effect on your relationship, and you have to step back and say, one, who am I right now? Because who I was when my dad was alive may not be the same person that I am when my dad is no longer here, because there was a source that I had to go through, or a source that I rely on, I could tangibly go to and touch, is no longer here, right? So where do I go when that source is no longer here? I have to rebuild the character I knew to be somebody else, somebody better, or somebody needs to change the mind frame. And it's not easy, it's hard, but I applaud you, and I know that you're doing that. And continue talking to your wife, continue expressing that, because one of the things that we know as men, we tend to take things and not be expressive. And I'm not saying you're not doing it, but advice for anybody that have lost a loved one, especially if you have someone in your life, be expressive, talk it out, say, this hurts, this bothers me, I'm not comfortable right now, give me some space, right? Because we have a tendency to just keep things in. I have a tendency, I'm gonna just personalize it, I have a tendency to just keep things in and try to deal with it myself. I'm going to deal with it in my time, my frame, because I don't want anybody else to pity me. I don't want anybody's help. But in reality, yeah, we do. We need the help. We need to have someone to just pat our back or rub our back and give us a kiss in a cheek or our forehead and say, it will be okay. We need to show vulnerability. We need to show as men that we are able to show emotions, right? And I am encouraging that, especially on this platform, because I'm a man, I do have emotion, right? It seems like a hashtag, but that's the honest truth. So many, society and culture define men as men that's going to be emotionless, or can't show emotion, or you have to be very militant. But that how hard is that? How much does it play a role in your mentee, right? Growing for your wife and growing for your spouse, it hurts because you're not sharing that with them. And I'm saying this because I experienced this personally, and I'm still growing. And I encourage you and encourage anybody else out there, if there is something going on, learn to trust your spouse, learn to trust your wife or your girlfriend, whomever, right? Or have someone that you can reach out to and say, I just need an ear for me to talk. I need to talk. I need you to be there for me, just to me to talk. You have your wife, get the time and talk to her and say, I just need a space, or I just need you to be here this time, or I just need a time to just breathe. I'm gonna go out. I'm just gonna breathe. And then they can understand how they can better cater to you. We as men need to know how to better communicate with the people that's around us. God put those people around us for a reason. If we're not using these sources, we are starving ourselves of good message. We are starving ourselves of deliverance, right? Everything that God does, there's a reason for it, and I honestly believe that. So, granted, it's sad. Granted, it's sad. It's hard, but we need to know that there are other people out there that's willing to and able to help us.
Amen. I agree with that. I definitely do agree with that wholeheartedly, and I receive that admonition. I definitely do second it and challenge others, including myself, to speak up and to recognize that God has sent help, and so we should make the most use of the help that we've been sent.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now I know that you mentioned that you are you're married, and congratulations, first of all. Welcome to the club, I would say.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club. It's a beautiful thing. I absolutely love being married to my wife. I love the journey. I love our friendship, and it's something that I will continue cherishing. And towards that, so as you were growing up, right? As you're growing up, dating, and now you have a wife. Did your dad have any influence in dating or picking a life partner?
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. He was against it for a vast majority of my life. He was, he was a guy that prioritized on school, on God, and that's all that mattered. He thought everything else is a distraction. You don't need that when the time comes. Actually, I remember him actually saying to my sister, when the time comes, I will tell you.
Wow.
And we'll talk about it then. Until then, there's no need to have this conversation. It's a waste of time. It's time that could be devoted to do other things. I will share with you, though, that last year on September 15th, I opened up to him about my now wife. And I remember sharing with him and my mother over dinner about, my joy and who I found and what I like about her, this and that, basically trying to sell the product, right? Mm-hmm. And mind you, I should actually preface all of this by saying I had my sister, her now husband, interestingly enough, and myself. We were praying, and my other sister. We were praying. We were praying for like 2 or 3 days. Like, God, I don't want to mess this up. This is a big move. Like, come into my day. And I don't expect you to understand the gravity of what it means to come to my parents, especially my dad. This is a Dear Dad podcast. So I'm zeroing in on my dad. I'm not minimizing my mom's place in my life, but I'm just focusing on my dad right now. But I'm not trying to minimize what it means. But you don't come with garbage and rubbish to my dad. You got to come together. You got to come with a game plan. You got to think it through. It got to make sense. And if you want to succeed, right? So we prayed, and I remember that day. It was just like, and the hours just kept coming faster and faster. I'm like, I need some more time to get my thoughts together. And then I realized, what? It is what it is. If he likes her, he likes her. If he doesn't like her, he doesn't like her. It is what it is. We'll move on from there. And I shared my thoughts, and he was excited. I remember one particular place he asked me, does she know how to cook? And I was like, and I said, yes, she does. He's like, oh, okay, because that's very important for you. I didn't hear you say nothing about food. You talked about God, you talked about church, you talked about school. She does this, she wants to be that, and you talked about her family, but the things that are important to you, I'm not hearing. And he was certainly supportive from that day going forward. So yes, he definitely played a major role, at least in the foundational stages of my marriage or my relationship with my wife now. And I'm grateful. I'm eternally grateful for that. I certainly would not be where I am right now if it weren't for his input in my relationship with Raquel. So I'm definitely thankful. I'm definitely appreciative of what he did.
Nice, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. So
Yeah.
just to wrap up just to wrap up the journey of your dad, and then I'm going to ask you like maybe 2 or 3 questions relating to you. If you had the chance, which I feel like you did, but if if you had the chance right now, your dad is in front of you, and you want to tell him anything that you wanted to tell him, what would it be?
Would I be? I would say among the things I would say are, yo, you got one hell of a strong wife. You have a strong woman by your side, or you had a strong woman by your side. Mom is tough. Mom is intelligent, much more than I gave her credit for. Interesting thing is, my wife always said that when I told her about my mom. I did not give my mom enough credit, so I would definitely share that. I would share, thanks for coming back. I could use you in this parenting stage. That was a huge thing for me. It was a huge thing, and it's crazy that I'm saying that now because all he did, well, all I remember and all my sister would remember is him as a parent. We don't even remember him as a husband, to be honest. We remember him more as a parent. It was always father, 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 school, 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 God, church, family. It was a lot of that more than anything, and I feel like that's the next big chapter that's coming my way. And the best teacher that I could ever have is not around to help me through that chapter. Second to God, of course. But if he was to come back and I'd have a conversation, I'd be like, "Yo, welcome back. Let's get to work." There are a lot of things, but I think the things I mentioned are just about it. I'd update him on my life. My sister's life. We got married. Updates on life, different moves that we're trying to make as a family. I would I would go to a Knicks game with him again because he loved the Knicks. Yeah, there'd be a lot to do. There'd be a lot to do and a lot to say.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, man. I really want to say thank you. Thank you for expressing so much about your dad and being so vulnerable and so being open. So moving forward, as far as you, right? So you've seen how your dad you've seen how his view on life is about education, about church, about God, and you have that lesson, you have that in your back pocket as a resource. So now moving forward, you have a wife, right, and you're looking forward to having a family. Do you have any idea of what kind of dad that you want to be, or maybe what kind of dad you don't want to be?
I certainly do. I definitely want to take the good things from him, and I want to leave the bad things out. And God has also blessed me with a father-in-law who is, or I like to say father-in-law, I call him Papa, who is exceptional. I mean, I'm yet to see any negative traits in him, to be honest. And let me not even say yet. I have not seen any negative traits in him yet suggest that it is there coming, and who knows what the future is, but I've not seen anything. So I'm blessed to have at least 2 father figures in my life that I have positive things to draw from, to emulate, and to even hope, like you said, to see in my future son as you see in yours. Definitely do have things that I want to take from him, a whole lot of things. And I do have stuff that I want to take from my father-in-law that God has blessed me with in this marriage. Some of the things that I definitely want to take is the seriousness of school, the seriousness of God, and his work, the value of family. I want to take seriously the concept of working hard, working smart, being on time, managing your time well. Some of the things that he did very, very well in his life. Being
Yes.
approachable, to have conversations, and listening, being holistic, being very well-rounded. He was a very well-rounded individual. I'd say that about him. The people from different, I want to say walks of life, but people from different walks of life, for the purposes of this conversation, seem to feel comfortable talking to him about whatever, men and women alike, children and older people, in the church, outside of the church, in the workplace, in the family. He was definitely approachable to talk to. He definitely had a good ear and some sound wisdom to share. So that's something I would certainly want to emulate steal, inherit, whatever verb you want to put there.
Great, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm gonna let you go. I have like about a question or two for you, and I'll let you go.
No problem.
So growing up, again, you come to determine who you are right now. You're still coming to determine who you are right now. You're a married man, and future is holding as far as you becoming a dad soon. Praying for that. Hopefully, that's something you both want, and looking forward for that. Now, becoming the man that you are right now, and who you are right now, and still coming up to be right now, would you say you love who Maurice is?
Yes, I would say that. That's to answer your question. I'm going to add to my answer and say, however, Maurice has a lot of growing up and changes to make. Dad would be happy to see the progression. He would be happy to see the growth. I would be happy to see the progression and the growth. So yes, I do love who I am in this particular moment. I am grateful for the opportunity to simply merely exist. But, or let me say, however, I definitely do want to grow and be more and hopefully become fully what my dad once envisioned that I would be optimally.
Nice. Good to hear. I asked that question because, we have to love ourselves first before we can love somebody else. Also, we're going to rely too heavily on somebody else's to fill a void that we've had that can't be filled by just simply a one body being there. So, yes, you got to love yourself, love Christ, love yourself, and love, others too. So I just reference this question because it's necessary, I believe, to love yourself. You have to love yourself, love being by yourself, love being with yourself, right? Love spending time with yourself, because if you can't stand yourself, you can't expect somebody else's.
Very true.
Right?
That is very true.
You can't expect somebody else to fill in that void. So again, love yourself, or learn to love yourself, learn to spend time with yourself. And it's something that you have to do. Some people think it's too much, it's scary, it's not necessary. But that's when you start seeing the relationship that you're in, how different it can be when you love yourself first. Once you love yourself, you're not going to look for it from somebody else. You're gonna look for someone that is able to add to that, right? So you don't want somebody to take away, and then you don't want, at the same time, you don't want somebody that's gonna fill in the gap, which is the gap again. It's not ever gonna be filled because you haven't loved yourself first. So I'm glad to hear, and I'm happy to hear that you do love yourself, even through the journeys and obstacles that you went through, that you still do. You come to terms to loving yourself, and it's important. And I encourage that, and I am very happy that you have come to that. So that's beautiful and that's great. So the last question, and then I'll let you go, is what kind of message do you want to leave with the dads, the fathers, the father figures out there, or the dads to be?
The message that I would say I would leave with current dads to be, the first thing I'd say is have God as your role model, have God as your leader, because he is our Father, the Heavenly Father, the daddy of all daddies. And I think if he's leading, you cannot. I know if he's leading, you cannot and will not fail. And the second piece of counsel that I would give is ever be so mindful that someone is looking up to you even when you're not paying attention. Someone is looking at you. I remember at an age when I wanted to be just like my dad. I remember when you would think I was his biggest cheerleader, and we think of our wives and husbands as our biggest cheerleaders, but I was on another level about my dad. And I think every father needs to remember that their kids are looking up to them, boy or girl alike. I know the relationship may differ between the sexes of the children, but your kids are looking up to you, and that should motivate you to do right, to live right, to do the very best that you can. So yeah, those are the two pieces of counsel that I would give. Just follow God and remember that your kids are watching.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, man. Thank you, Maurice. I just want to, again, thank you for coming to this podcast. Thank you for coming to this platform and sharing your thoughts, your vulnerability. your transparency. Like I highly applaud that, because again, a lot of us don't have the opportunity to do it or not willing to do it. But I have this platform to allow men, to allow not only men, not only men, but to tell a story about our dad. All of us have dad, no matter if they're in our lives or not. All of us have our experience with dad, and I just want to thank you for that. Like from what you said, this journey is not about us. It's not about us. Paraphrasing from what you're saying, it's not about us. We just need to think that wherever God placed us, there is a purpose for that, right? We need to think about what change or how can we help the person next to us, our brothers and sisters in Christ. How much can we pour into them just like God poured into us? You can say that your dad was a little strict, your dad was a little bit strict about your education in church, but look what he has created in you. Look who you have become, right? From the person that think differently, the person that act differently, and the person that sees the world differently from anybody else, right? It changed who you are. It changed the character of who you are. And I think just him being in your life at times changed the dynamic of your life. Imagine if he wasn't in your life, right? Who would you be right now? Who you wouldn't know. And I'm so grateful again. I'm honored. I'm grateful that you're able to tell me this journey. I know it's not easy, especially with someone that lose their dad. But we got to be intentional with everything that we do, right? Just like Maurice said, that it is. We have to be not only intentional, but you don't know who's watching, right? You don't know who's watching. You don't know who is watching, depending on whatever you do. So if you do something bad, they're gonna watch. Something good, you're gonna watch. So you might as well be in your best behavior. Do something that's gonna impact somebody else in the long run. You never know who you're going to impact and how you're gonna impact that person. So you might as well be a godly person. Be in good behavior. Always think about somebody else. Or if you want to think about it in a small term, I know you don't have your kid yet, Maurice, but let's think if you had your child next to you, would you be that person that you were in public? You know what I'm saying? Would you be that person to them? Some people say they might say yes, but you want to. The whole point of when you're a parent is to better yourself for your child. So you don't want to give your kid the worst version of you. You want to give them the best version of you. And I can honestly say that your dad gave and poured in his best version of himself into you. And now you have become you have become a different person from what your dad was. You have add different characters in yourself. You become a different person, right? And I applaud that. I absolutely love that. Who you are and who you have become, your dad had a great influence on that. There is so much that we can go into details as far as how he did or didn't do. That's not important. Right now is who you are. You become a man, and because of your dad, you are sitting on his shoulder right now and growing up and being who you are right now because of him, because of person, because of who he was and how he portrayed himself to be. He did so much and still doing so much in your lives, I believe. And I encourage that. I encourage everyone, anything that you may do, believe that you are impacting somebody else's life. Everywhere that you go, God is working in you, not only for yourself, but somebody else. God can save someone through you. All you got to do is plant that seed. Continue moving forward, continue loving, continue sharing, continue embracing, right? Because you never know who we can save. We never know what kind of plant we never know what kind of plant we are growing. God has amazing ways of doing things, and I absolutely love that. So do your part and let God take the rest, right?
Thank you. Amen. Thank you for the challenge.
Absolutely. And I encourage again, everybody, guys, be expressive. Talk to your spouse. If you want to use this platform, it's definitely open to just express yourself, not only for dads, but for other people that's going through that. All of us have dads, and I encourage that. I encourage continue moving forward, continue being a better version of yourself for someone else, not even for your child, but for your spouse. For your mom, for your dad, for yourself. Be a better version of that. You don't want to be the same person that you were 10 years ago. You can't be the same person that you were when you were dating. You can't be the same person that you were when you were 20, 19 at high school and junior high school, elementary. You can't be that same person. You have to evolve. You have to grow and become better. be a better version of yourself. I challenge you and anybody else that's listening to always trying to be a better version of yourself, and know that you are impacting someone that's connected to you. So be in your best behavior and always try to do better, because you can change somebody else's life. So Maurice, I just want to thank you, brother, for coming here, for being vulnerable, for being open. And I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for all that you have done and have shared with us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you so much for having me again. Thank you for creating this forum for us to share, to discuss. And I pray that just at least one person was blessed from this discussion. Thank you.
Absolutely. As we wrap up, guys, I just want to thank you guys again for coming, for sharing, for listening to, and continue coming back. I love what this has become, what it is becoming, what it's formulating to be. I love this platform, and I pray that it continue to grow. Continue coming back, continue subscribing, continue sharing, and I love everything about this. Let's continue making it grow, guys. Again, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. I will catch you guys in a few. Bye. For more Dear Dad podcasts, visit Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Make sure you check Dear Dad Podcast on your favorite Instagram social media platform at Dear Dad Podcast. Catch you later.